Hi Archie, hi Effie, how are you two? You're very you and I'm not cute. But how are you? And welcome everyone. So, hi, how are you? And today we are going to keep playing Cinderella of Nomii Evermore. This time we are going for Claude's best ending, because we finished good ending 2 weeks ago. And I don't know how many chapters I'm going to do today. I don't know if I can finish 3. But yeah, we will see. And for that reason, we just switch and go because I have a plan for 7 p.m. And also kind of surprised, kind of not, because it has been said, but yeah, it's something that me and others have been talking for us. So yeah, let's switch and go. Yes, I started. Ho. If I were you, I would give up now, Princess Iviana. You ought to just surrender, darling. What kind of villain says darling? Ivana, this is where you play along. I take a deep breath, then force myself to glare at him. I will never succumb to you. I parry Claude's sword moments after he lands a blow on the edge of my blade. His momentary surprise fades into concentration as he rushes me again, sword ready to hide. This time I am unable to parry, and when our swords connect, it is all I can do to keep my distance. Claude's face is inches from mine. A cocky smile lights his face, but his calm is unwavering. Use any means necessary to pass me, I dare you. At this proximity, I can see the flicks of color in Claude's eyes, the flicker of golden light on gentle green. His eyes will always remind me of this forest. I steal my eyes away from him and glimpse the rest of his body to search for an opening. Okay, time to save. Okay, so last time we used magic and those the wrong ones, and now it's sword. This is a sword fight, and I will win in this sword, not my magic. I do not need to trick Claude to best him. My eyes fall on Claude's arms. His stance is rigid and unwavering. It is a sign that he is trying to keep his whole body steady, and his defense solid, but I slide the edge of my blade against his sword and duck out of the way as he slides past my head. Claude's eyes widen as I lower my weapon to elbow in the gut. My elbow barely connects before he takes a step back and grabs hold of my arm. A valiant effort, my love, but I'm afraid you found the wrong opening. As always, his cockiness is one of his weaknesses. I flip the pommel of my sword and grip it with my other hand. Then aim it at his stomach. Claude realizes my wrist and dodges out of the way. We both raise our swords at the same time, and our weapons once again collide. I force myself to step forward even beneath the weight of his sword. Then, arms shaking, I slowly slide my sword away. Claude's blade stops inches from my shoulder, but my sword is closer. I aim the point at his chest, at his heart, with a smile. Every time I put myself in a dangerous situation, Claude pauses. That gives me an opening I need. And with that, I seal my victory. Claude sets his sword down and holds his hands, a slight smile playing on his lips. Fair enough. It seems you have bested me today. But only because you cheated. I did not cheat. You told me to best you in whatever way I could, so I... Claude lowers the sword, and a sword I have pointed at his heart. With a carefree laugh, he takes a step towards... Towards? Gently close enough, we could touch noses. You... The rest of my words fall apart when Claude presses his lips to mine, silencing me. For a few moments, I stand frozen. The only sounds I can hear in the stillness of the forest are my own erratic heartbeat and the gentle flutter of leaves. Slowly, I begin to kiss him back, moving my free hand to his back. When he pulls me away, he is still somehow smiling at me mischievously. You said seal your victory, but you know that a victory isn't sealed without a kiss. It's worth seeing you cheat just to see you turn that adorable tomato red. I didn't cheat. I watch as Claude leans down to pick up his sword. He winks at me. Yes, I know. All's fair in love and war, as they say. I groan at Claude's response. He always managed to say such things nonchalantly, without even batting an eyelash. I have just read my retort when something breaks the silence of the forest around us. I hope we're not interrupting anything. I reel in place to stare in the direction of the new voice. I am surprised to see Garland and Julian standing a short distance away. Beneath the copse of trees. How long have you two been standing there? Long enough to see the thrilling end of that match. I didn't realize that sealing a victory meant ending a battle with a kiss. I stared at her in horror. It was... I'm just teasing. Garland smiles as he runs a hand through his hair. What a good day for victory, though. One could say it was almost a birthday gift. It's not a gift at all. Divina earned this victory herself. The only victories I accept are ones I earn myself. You see? I know Divina like the back of my hand. I would hope you know your fiancé like the back of your hand. I cannot help that my cheeks warm with Julian's words. Even though I have been Claude's fiancé for the last few months, most people do not bring it up our engagement so casually. Hi Angelo, thank you for the follow. Kendall. Claude slides closer to me and drops an arm around my waist. You really are so adorable when you are embarrassed. If you even begin to tease me, my sword will find your end. Your threats are as sweet as your compliments. He smiles at me mischievously, before stepping away and glancing at Julian and Garland. I hope the two of you didn't come for a personal lesson. You know that I have an important matter to attend to, no? I stifle a sigh. I know just as well as Julian and Garland that Claude has something he needs to pick up in town today. Most likely is another gift for me. Claude plans to give me a birthday gift every day for a week leading up to my birthday. He did the same thing last year and the year before that, but this year his first day birthday gift was rather extravagant. I cannot believe that the bouquet of lilies he bought me yesterday had to be delivered on a cart. I wonder what kind of gifts he plans on bringing by today. 6 days remain until my birthday, which means that the gifts will become more extravagant from here on out. It is usually the gifts he uses me It is usually the gift he gives me on my birthday date. That is the most heartfelt and special, but I cannot help but look forward to his smaller surprises regardless. His efforts are always showy, and that is what makes them feel like Klaude. Besides, I always put so much thought into the gifts, extravagant or not. I turn back to the conversation at hand. The two knights are still discussing some sort of training regimen. The exchange goes on for another few minutes before Klaude turns to me and smiles. By your leave, darling. I should rush off to town and pick up your gift. I promise that you'll be absolutely oh my god, I can't speak. I promise that you'll absolutely love this one. Hopefully it doesn't need to be delivered on a cart. Or involving some foreign shore. Or a cake so large it takes 4 people to carry it up the stairs. You two are just jealous you didn't get to deliver those items yourself last year. That cake was made by the best baker in the whole kingdom, and that drawer... I cannot help the laughter that escapes my lips. Klaude abruptly stops talking to plant a kiss on my head. He gazes at me with a fond smile before shaking his head. Enough dawdling. I have to go now if I want to make in time for our design meeting. I promise I won't be late, Diana. He grabs my hand briefly before rushing off. I notice that oh my god, I can speak! I notice that he's in a hurry. He has forgotten to sell his sword. Oh, your sword! He lets out a soundless sigh as he sheds the sword and rushes off. Leave me alone with it tonight. Looks like someone got their head in the clouds. Doesn't he always when he's around the princess? The two glance at each other, some silent amusement flickering between them. Did he come out here just to spy on us? Of course not, Your Highness. We were on our way out to the palace when Princess Emilienne stopped us and asked us to deliver a message. Message? The princess requires your assistance. With what? She didn't provide any details, unfortunately. If she didn't explain what it was for, then it's highly likely that this is about that surprise celebration she wants to throw me. But it is still a surprise if I know. But is it still a surprise if I know that is happening? Caroline and Julian glance at each other. For a few moments, some hidden message convey in their gazes. Caroline claps a hand on Julian's shoulder with a smile. I'll escort the princess back. I'll meet up with you before the hour's up. Julian puts her hand over his, but only briefly before she nods at him. Don't be too late, otherwise I'll start eating without you. Caroline slides his hand off of her shoulder as she turns to walk away from us. Once she's out of sight, the two of us begin our walk back toward the palace. Caroline stops when we arrive at the gate. He turns to me with a bright smile. Here we are, princess. Oh. He looks at me quizzically. I just noticed you didn't have a knight escort with you today? A few weeks ago, I was able to convince father that we no longer needed an escort in the forest. I feel it is better that way. It feels more special when it is just Klaude and I there. Besides, I'm the Tana Brown Bear and Klaude is a talented swordsman. We have nothing to fear when we are together. Now the king should be able to fill you in on that situation. Caroline looks at me, thoughtful. Then he nods. Princess Emilienne should be in the dining hall. Is there anything else that you require? Nothing that I can think of. You're free to go back to your date. Caroline flushes a crimson red that makes me laugh. Despite how discreet he and Julian try to be, It is very easy to see that the two of them are courting each other. It has been that way for the last 2 years. Narrow my eyes at him. How goes the matter, Klaude? And I discuss it with you. Have you spoken to Jordan yet? No, not yet. Carlton shakes his head, eyebrows forward. The timing doesn't feel right. I will propose to her after your birthday party or your wedding, but right now we need to focus on security for both of those celebrations. You two are hard working to a fault, you know. It's an occasional hazard, I'm afraid. I shake my head with a sigh. That dedication is what makes Shuri and Garland two of the most competent knights we have in NGL. After I excuse him, he bows and turns to walk away. I'm about to walk in through the front gates when he suddenly calls my name. Oh, Princess Diviana. Did Prince Klaude say anything about when his brother was scheduled to arrive? Oh, right. I had nearly forgotten that Klaude's brother, Lance, is supposed to arrive the week before our wedding. Klaude insisted that he come as late as possible. He should be here at the beginning of the next month. Carlton looks at me for a few moments, a troubled expression on his face. Is something wrong, Carlton? It's nothing. Carlton smiles before turning and walking away. I watch his back, contemplating calling him back. Instead, I find my thoughts turning to the last time I mentioned Lance. You've been sulking all day. Is something wrong? I sit beside Klaude on the bed, my hand resting on his knee. He stares out my window, his gaze glassy. You would laugh. I would laugh at you anyways. Klaude's lips quirk slightly before he angles his head toward me with a sigh. If you must know, it's my brother. Lance? Yes, Lama. I raise an eyebrow sharply. What about him? Did he write something strange on his letter? No, much strange as annoying. He proposed visiting Angel 1 week before our wedding for a preliminary celebration. I failed to see the problem. The problem is that it's Lama. He attracts unwanted attention wherever he goes. You've met him before, you understand what I mean. The last time I spoke with Lance was nearly a year ago. He and his mother came to visit Klaude in NGL and brought everyone in the palace a terrific amount of gifts. It was a lot like you. I'm offended, darling. We are nothing alike. I am radiant like the sun, and Lemmy is a magnet. He has a way of stealing the spotlight always. You worry he'll steal the spotlight from you? Klaude looks at me disgruntled. I'm right, aren't I? Not at all. I'm worried he'll steal the spotlight from you. I slide closer to him. Oh, I'll be fine. I do not crave attention like you do. Crave attention? Me? Yes, you. Do not deny it. But you... I put a finger to his lips. You already give me enough attention as it is, and that's all I really needed. Klaude pulls my hand away from his mouth and gently kisses my palm. He smiles a little sheepishly. If you insist, then I will write back to my brother and tell him he can come early. I just hope you don't regret his decision. Lance has been very popular in NGL ever since he first visited with his mother, but no matter his magnetism, he certainly won't distract the townspeople from a royal wedding. I'm sure that Klaude must have something planned for the week before the wedding, and he just does not want Lance taking anyone's attention away from it. It will be fine. I shake my head to clear my thoughts before turning to head back into the palace. The halls are bustling with activity when I enter. Many of the gathered servants and maids stop chattering as I approach. At ease, aren't you all supposed to be on break? Ah, princess, we were just enjoying our break outside. I glance around at the gathered staff. I am certain that these people do not usually take their breaks together, even if they do all happen to share the same of times. See, have any of you seen Emmeline? The princess is in the dining hall with the royal chef's princess. I thank the maids with a little bob of my head before making my way to the dining hall. The dining hall is just as lively as the hallway, if not even more. Appetizing scents wafts through the air, mingling to create an overly piquant aroma. I spot Emmeline amidst the crowds, tesson-colored liquid in different chalices. She raises a chalice to her lips just as I arrive before hurriedly placing it back on the table.
Oh, Diviana!
You look guilty of something.
Not at all.
I glance around at the different chalice, and Emeline's shoulders drop with defeat.
I was trying different cocktail concoctions for your birthday dinner. It was Claude's idea that we mixed something completely original for you. I was debating what type of cocktail to make for you. Strawberries and bananas? Something with cucumbers and lime?
I feel terrible because I don't know what your favorite flavors are. That can't be helped. I don't think I ever spoken about my preference with you.
Still, I must make certain that this drink is perfect.
She gestures to the various chalices, then points to one at the far end. It is filled with the white blue juice, and has a familiar creature sitting on the top of the glass as the decoration. Well, if this was Claude's idea, then I am not surprised that he used a chameleon to decorate the chalices. Years ago, when I first met him, Klaude enlightened me with stories of his childhood. Apparently, he was a special attachment to chameleons. Sometimes, when the two of us are practicing together, he even refers to himself as a chameleon prince. He says that he did it so he could have matching titles, but Chameleon Prince and Ice Princess do not match at all. I started a chameleon topper, and this is birthday, and this is let's speak. And is this birthday celebration really for me, or is it for him?
I've actually been trying to come up with a name for it, but I haven't thought of anything yet, so I thought it might be nice for you to choose it. It will be distributed in the marketplace after we unveil it at your birthday, after all.
What?
Well, I insisted that the populace have some way to celebrate with you. Since we're going to distribute it in your name, I thought I'd ask you what you wanted me to call the drink.
A name for the drink. Chameleon. Even if it is very dramatic, this was still thoughtful of Klaude. Since he's been working so hard for this celebration, I ought to celebrate a little too. And since it is no secret he adores chameleons.
The chameleon?
Emmeline looks skeptically at the drink, then bursts out laughing.
I guess that makes sense with a little chameleon on the glass, but wouldn't that make the drink more Claude's special cocktail?
I see no problem with celebrating him. We can play a little trick on him during the unveiling. He'll never see it coming. Emmeline puts a hand to her cheek and grins.
I'm sure he'll love it, Viviana. And oh, what sort of mixture do you want for the drink?
I'm not picky. Feel free to choose what you will.
Really? Are you sure?
Emmeline looks at me uncertainly. Are you still here trying drinks, Em? The familiar voice makes us both reel in place. Rod stands behind us, lips quirked into a small smile. I step back without realizing I'm still unused to Rod's changed eyes, especially with his quiet demeanor. It feels almost like a contradiction. He scolds at me. Is there something on my face? He casts a shadow. You're terrible. Emmeline just giggles. Then she claps a hand on my shoulder.
Anyway, thanks for the help, Diviana. I actually had a few more questions to ask you, but I need to figure out this drink before the end of the hour. Rod, you should help. You should help me.
You want me to help you taste drinks?
We can both be royal test drinkers.
I don't think nobles test drinks for other nobles. The two of them continue their back and forth banter, and for a few moments I watch them with amusement. I have tried my best to mend my relationship with Emmeline and Rod over the years. And even though the bonds we share are not as strong as the bonds they have with each other, our relationship is no longer strained. I think I will leave you to your testing. I have to meet Claude soon. He insists on meeting me in my room before he has to run off to a lesson with his history tutor. Speaking of Pangeal history fairly quickly, especially since he just started recently, and since I convinced him to stop hiding from the tutor. Emmeline is staring at the calyces with the chameleon topper thoughtfully.
I wonder what sort of gifts he'll bring today.
A fool is not a chore. Require. Or some gigantic cake with enchanted candles. There is no way to know with Claude. The surprise is part of the gift.
Well, do let us know what it is once you get through the wrapping paper. If it's small enough to fit on wrapping paper, that is.
I nod my head with a smile. The three of us trade quick farewells before I walk out of the crowded dining hall and back into the corridor. I barely manage a few steps into the corridor before someone collides with me. The impact pushes me down to the ground. I'm sorry. The man holds out his hand to me. My humblest and most sincere apologies, Princess Viviana. Please allow me to help you to your feet. I glance up at the man and frown. I am about to respond to his apology when I pause. Noticing his gentle features, it is impossible not to recognize him. This is... Lance. I stare at him in shock. The light of the sun is angled just right on his features, making everything on his face gently glow. My early agitation disappears completely when I behold his smile. Nice to see you again, too, Princess Viviana. And once again, I'm so sorry. I continue to stare at him, eyes wide, his apology barely registering in my mind. You're not supposed to be here for another month. That I am not, yet here I stand. He continues to smile at me jovially. There is an explanation for this, I promise. I gently push his hand away and move up to stand on my own. I'm fine, thank you. I'd better not give him more reason than necessary to shower me with attention. I stand and brush my dreads off briskly. I notice emotion out of the corner of my eyes and look up to see Klaude striding through us. He must stand beside me, a tight smile on his face. How rude it is of my brother to knock a beautiful lady over. I am afraid all I can do in this situation is offer a heartfelt apology. Lance smiles, a little sheepishly, before he turns his full attention on Klaude. Well, that was all a little awkward, but his smile widens into something somehow both shining and gentle. Nice to see you too, Karma. Rama. The few people that are in the hallway, including a few of the servants, pause briefly to glimpse at Lance as they pass. They smile when Lance makes eye contact with them. Last time Lance was here, he had a similar effect. He has a way of sparkling. Klaude does it too, but on purpose. I did not think it was possible before, but I'm fairly certain Lance sparks without meaning to. Lance's smile fades slowly. I apologize for not writing in advance of my arrival. Father insisted I come early to surprise you. By showing up an entire month early? Yes, exactly. Last time I visited with Mother, we ruined everyone's schedules. Father figured that if no one had any time to plan, I wouldn't be imposing as much. That is not very sound logic. I've never met Klaude's or Lance's fathers, but sometimes I cannot help but wonder what sort of king he is outside of the stories I hear. No, it's not sound logic, but it is something Father would do. He likes surprising people. The two men look at each other for a few moments. Lance looks noticeably uncomfortable with Klaude scowling at him. The silence is stifling. I clear my throat. Is it good to have you here, Lance? It is good to have you here, Lance. Does my family know that you are here? Oh, I already met with King Jannar and Queen Ophelia earlier. I was on my way to visit Princess Emmeline and Prince Rod when I bumped into you in the hallway. And I happened upon Commander Garland earlier. I was watching one of his practices. Perhaps Garland met Lance earlier, and that was why he mentioned his name. Did he want to keep all of this a surprise? Lance smiles again. I heard that your birthday is in 6 days, Princess Iviana. It will be an honor to attend the celebration, and it will be an honor to have you there, Lance. Klaude still looks agitated by the conversation. Klaude is always unreasonable, moody with his brother visits. It tells me that it is simply rivalry. Sometimes I feel it runs deeper than that. I had hoped to catch up with you too, but I don't want to interrupt any of your plans. Klaude sides beside me. He seems to deflate a little, but some of the earlier tension I sense in him fades away. He smiles at Lance. The sight puts me at ease. As much as I want to catch up now, I have an engagement. 2, in fact. I steal a quick glance at Klaude's hands and realize, belatedly, that he holds a colorful box with them. Is that the birthday gift he mentioned earlier? It is surprisingly small. I figure as much. This is what happens when one shows up unexpectedly at another person's doorstep. In that case, I'll make myself scarce for the hour. If you have the time to spare after your engagements, I'll be in the dining hall. I hear some sort of celebration planning is taking place. He gives a slight but elegant bow before walking past us, still smiling his gentle smile. It begins. What? Dilemma take over. Aren't you being a bit dramatic? He's your brother. I'm dramatic because he is my brother and I know him. Both sides. I'll have to rearrange the schedule now to make sure that he doesn't accidentally change any of my plans. Plans? Klaude shakes his head slightly before smiling at me mischievously. Plans? Whatever are you talking about, Iviana? I nudge his shoulder, but he just laughs at me before setting his armor on my his arm on my shoulders with a smile. Shall we? The two of us make our way down the corridor to my room. Oh my god, I can't speak today. I was speaking so fine before. Thankfully, there are no further incidents in the hallway. By the time we get back to my room, Klaude is noticeably more at ease. I take a seat on my bed as he shuts the door behind him. The day's climax is at least upon us. There is no choir involved in this, is there? Last year I sat down on my bed and the choir started singing a birthday song in the garden outside my window. No choir. This is much better. He sits down beside me and hands me the box. His eyes are glimmering with excitement. Klaude's excitement is just as much as part of the gift as the gift itself. He always looks so happy when he gives me something. And his happiness is contagious. Are you going to continue to make me wait in suspense? I thought this was my gift and not yours. Don't be like that, love. You know how much I enjoy seeing your eyes light up when you open a gift. I glance down at the little box that is now on my lap. It's wrapped in a vibrant red, gold, and green. A small card on the top reads, "To my betrothed on her special birthday week. You are my compass, even in the darkest times." I flush a little as I pluck the card off and set it aside. Betrothed. It is still so strange to think that we are engaged. Everything feels as it always has. It feels natural. I have the ring on my finger as I carefully unfold the wrapping paper. You could just tear the paper, you know? I enjoy making you wait in suspense. You do like to tease me, don't you? I laugh as I pull off the wrapping paper and then, slowly, open the box and that Klaude has bought for me. I still think it's so cute. I silk the first plushie out of the box and stare at it. It's fuzzy and almost completely black with red eyes. And yet somehow it is cute. And the other plush. I take it out to gaze at its dress and face. It has a little necklace hanging from its neck, and glass slippers on its small feet. Can immediately tell from the hair who did this mean to be. Me, and I stare at the black beast blush startled. You? Klaude laughs, looking pleased with himself. But why would he make himself out to be a beast? You look confused, but certainly must realize that this gift is based off the Beauty and the Beast. But you... Look, I even gave myself a little crown. Oh my god. I love how he's just like, I gave myself a little crown, yay! I want to see the plushies again. I furrow my eyebrows at him. You don't really think that you're a beast? Klaude's lips curve into a gentle smile. In the past, yes. But for now, the beast is just a plush. Don't you think it's cute? I glanced down at the beast plush again, my fingers on the crown. The past, huh? I leaned against Claude's shoulder and held up the plush toys, so that I can see them side by side. They're adorable, Claude. I love them. I wrapped my arms around his waist and settled my head on his shoulder. Thank you. Better than a choir or a large cake? I debated combining the two this year, you know? I suppose if I had to choose... No, wait, don't tell me. You might just break my heart. I grin at him as he wraps an arm around my waist and plants a kiss on top of my head. I love everything that you get for me, no matter how small or how grand. I eye the rose locket hanging around his neck and smile. Claude noticed me looking and puts a hand to it. More than 2 years ago, he had a rose statue on his heart. Now, he calls the rose locket his heart. I would get you the whole world if I could, but for now, I hope you don't mind settling for these smaller gifts. I'd never be able to fit a whole world in my room, but I can fit you in here at least, and that's probably the most important thing. Probably? Diviana, I am offended. I laugh, and it leans down to plant a kiss on my smile. You really won't let me skip out on my lessons today? I could think of much better things to do with this time. He raises an eyebrow at me, but I just slide away from him. Prince of Angel needs to know his kingdom, doesn't he? Claude stares at me after that, his expression growing surprisingly somber. For a few moments, I see a glint of melancholy in his eyes. Then he stands up abruptly and fixes a smile to his face. Of course. And then there is also my kid brother to attend to. I'll go speak with Lance, so do not worry about him. Once again, Claude's expression is sullen, but the look is only temporary. He leans down to take my hand and places a soft kiss on his back. In that case, I'll see you later, my love. He smiles at me one last time before heading out the door. I fall back on my bed, holding the two plushes to my chest. I hold up the beast's plush and sighed. That uneasiness I felt just now was my imagination, right? The beast plush does not answer me. I set the Beauty and the Beast plush toys down beside each other on my bed. For a few moments, I look at them, thoughtful. Eventually, I move to exit the room and turn my thoughts to brighter things. No matter what I do, I can never make a difference. He died because of me. It's all my fault. They have so much gold, and yet they won't spare a single coin. This is... If only I could be rid of them. All it does is take. The voices continue to pound inside my head like a trapped animal fighting its cage. I became aware that I am in a dream, a nightmare. The moment I realize, I begin to steer. I attempt to make myself up, but stop when I hear another voice at the edge of my consciousness. How could they miss me? It's not as if they haven't already replaced me. The voice is familiar, and for a few moments, 'Tis the only echo I hear in my mind. Whose voice is this? I try to listen, but to no avail. The other voices soon press into my mind, making it impossible to hear anything else. I force myself awake. My heart is beating irregularly in my chest, and my head is pounding. I feel faint, even though I have just woken up. I glance slowly around my room with sleepy eyes, searching for Klaude, but he's not here. Ever since we became engaged, he has been sleeping in this room with me. The king was against it at first. Even I could not help but be surprised by Klaude's bold proposal. Yet, according to him, such a thing is tradition in Brigantia. Still, it took father many months to agree. In the end, he only relented with the months remaining the wedding, saying that he found it more acceptable. It's pleasant when I wake up and actually find him sleeping next to me, but I notice a small note on the bedside table inside. He has another morning meeting with my father, it seems. I put a hand to my forehead and close my eyes. And that nightmare. Ever since I became the Tenebran Baron 2 years ago, I have been having these nightmares. Our fate tells me that they become milder the more I learn to put them to the back of my mind. The voices usually are not so terrible they drag me under like that. The last time the voices were this loud was because I was surrounded by negativity from somewhere close by. I sit up in bed and turn to look at the beast plush that lies just beside me, my pillow. That negativity isn't coming from Klaude, right? I am uncertain whether or not it is true or my imagination, but even though he is, for the most part, his usual self, there are moments when he feels different. There are moments where his smile wavers, and a tinge of melancholy comes into his eyes. First time I saw it was when he gave me the beast bush. That was 6 days ago. I've asked Klaude multiple times if something is amiss. He always waves me off with a smile. I glance around the room that we now share. Most of it has not changed, though Klaude has added some things, namely a piano that sits in one corner. He insisted on putting it into the room when we first moved in, and I had no qualms about it. Not when I know that the playing calms him down. Besides, I do not mind watching him play. Sometimes, when I am in the mood, I play with him. Perhaps I should suggest playing together sometime later today. I step aside as I slide off my bed and move to get dressed. Ahmed arrives to call me to breakfast and then leads me to the dining hall. Breakfast is livelier today on account of Lance, who sits beside Emmeline listening to everything the royal family is discussing with a broad smile on his face. Even though the king and Klaude are both absent from the table, Lance talks enough for the both of them. In fact, ever since he arrived, Lance has somehow managed to put himself in the spotlight. For every family meal, he does not start conversations on his own, but is always quick to respond, and usually with a smile. He seems inherently interested in everything that he hears. It is amazing to me that he managed to be so animated and attentive so early in the morning. My thoughts are preoccupied during breakfast, hovering somewhere between Klaude's duties and my own. I listen while I eat, sometimes nodding along with the conversation. I have almost cleared my plate when Lance speaks directly to me, jolting me out of my reverie. Have you ever spoken with the wishes in Brigantia, Princess? I look up and blink, trying to piece together what he might have been saying. The witches from Brigantia? Klaude tells me that you interact with many witches because of your position as Cinderella. He puts a hand to his chest and gives a slight bow. Even sitting down in front of a half-finished breakfast plate, he managed to make the motion look somehow dignified. I must stress that, as always, it is an honor to be in your presence. I cannot help but smile at him. Most of the time, being the Tenebran is more an ordeal than a blessing, but I have learned to appreciate the responsibility. Please, Lance, there is no need for that. I shook my head. And no, I do not usually speak with Brigantia witches. I usually have no reason to, unless there is some kind of set. From that I heard, though, the witches in Brigantia are content. There are still incidents involving witches in NGL every so often, but thankfully those incidents have been on the decline in the last year. It does seem that way, though I cannot say with absolute certainty, because I do not have many witches acquaintance. Lance's eyes brighten. He seems to be lost in memory for a few moments, but then he speaks up. Many of the witches I do know have visited the castle to perform extraordinary magical feats. Mother has a few witch acquaintances that helped her decorate their midnight parties with enchanted objects.
Midnight parties?
Emmeline looks at Lance in wonder. Mother is a bit of a night owl, so she throws many parties at night. She refers to her weekly evening celebrations as midnight balls.
Ah, that sounds lovely.
I see a notification. They are quite lovely, if not a bit overwhelming at times. But I suppose that's to be expected. Brigantia is known for its animated nightlife. It's sleepy when the sun is still up and lively when the moon rises. The balls are particularly special nighttime celebration with renowned performers. One year, when Klaude and I were still young, my mother invited a witch whose specialty was magical gardening. Magical gardening? The witch conjured an entire field of colored roses.
That's...
Lance laughs. Suffice it to say, it's left quite an impression. I think we learned to appreciate roses a lot more after we were gifted an entire field of them. I wonder if such showcases are part of the reason Klaude loves roses so much. I need water. I think of the rose locket and smile. What sort of magic do you specialize in, Princess Viviana? I look at Lance, momentarily perplexed. Laura taught me shields and ice magic first, so I'm probably most comfortable with those spells, but I do not consider them my speciality.
Viviana is very good with ice. She made a sculpture of Klaude once for his birthday.
Emmeline. Lance stares at me with clear impress. You made a sculpture out of ice? That's amazing. Klaude thought it was amazing too, even if I could never get its features right. He teased me about it for a long time afterward. So he was definitely distressed when I set the sculpture outside in the sun so that it will.
There's a broom here that she animated to clean all on its own too.
No, Mr. Broom is entirely Lauren Parfait's fault. Did not want to bring him here at first, but in the end, I agreed to it because the thing wouldn't leave me alone when I visited the tavern. I brought it here and tweaked the enchantment so that it could sweep on its own. Now, at least, Laura cannot renew the enchantment on it just to tease me. Rod looks up from his plate, eyebrows raised. A little more than a year ago, Diviana created a light show in the dining hall. There was electricity bouncing everywhere. That lightning spell was a difficult beginner spell. Anslav's looking delighted. So you are a master of all trades. I wouldn't expect anything less from the Tenebrown bearer. It is a shame that you can't come to Brigantia for a long enough time to meet with the witches there. They speak of you fondly, even if they cannot see you often. They do? Most certainly. That is surprising. But perhaps I am making more progress with everyone than I first thought. I think about what Lance said about my inability to visit Brigantia. Fortunately, I cannot leave Anchiel for extended periods of time. When I am the Tenebrown Bearer, I have to remain in the kingdom because I am tied to the crystal god. My thoughts shift to Klaude. He has gone to visit Brigantia a number of times without me, but I know that he said I cannot join him. Because of my own position as Tenebrown Baron, I could never go to Brigantia and become a princess there. That is the reason my wedding engagement with Klaude will make him a crown prince of Angel. It is also the reason Klaude was forced to step down as the crown prince of Brigantia and hand the title over his brother. Lance breaks through my thoughts with a question. Might I be so bold to ask for a demonstration? I would be happy to tell you more about Klaude if you would show me your magic. Some of the magic. Oh my god, not the... Ophelia, who had been quietly listening in on our conversation, then stands from the table with a smile. I'll leave you all to it then, but please, no electric mishaps. I am more than capable of controlling my electricity. This sounds so much like a mother schooling a daughter. So cute. Ophelia just smiles at my embarrassment before excusing herself from the table. Magical demonstration, huh? I'm still considering what spell to cast when the doors of the dining hall swing open and Klaude walks inside. He looks somehow downtrodden, his expression broody. Karma, you came just in time for the princess magic demonstration. Klaude turns and looks at me quizzically, his expression softening. Then I have arrived at the perfect time. He keeps walking until he is standing behind my chair. I'm relieved to see his initial stress completely disappeared from his face. I turn my gaze to the rest of the table. Everyone is looking at me expectantly. A spell. Did I do something that I'm comfortable with, or something new? Also, I have a paper from last time I went to check my view and make sure that I had everything. A nice spell would be safe, but perhaps I can cheer Klaude up with something new. I've made a lot of things before, but never rose a rose. Still, it cannot be that difficult, surely? I hold out my hands, cupping them in front of me to create a small platform. I squint down at the palm of my hands, concentrating the magic in my body into my fingers. The magic beneath my skin is a subtle thing, but 2 years of practice has made it easier to grip a shape into something. I close my eyes briefly, imagining the shape of a rose. The first thing that came to mind is a rose locket on Klaude's chest. I attempt to draw the shape of it into reality. If I can shape eyes, this is nothing. Oh, no, wait.
Oh!
That's... I open my eyes and stare down at the object in my hands. It is indeed a rose, but much to my disgruntled, it is flat, extremely flat. Its shape resembles the flat metallic shape of Klaude's rose locket, only it is awkwardly balanced on a vibrant green stem. A single weary leaf just from the stem. I sigh as the rose caves into itself. This was not impressive at all. I'll try again.
But...
Viviana, wait. Klaude takes a few steps forward, then reaches past my shoulders. He touches his fingers to the petals of the delicate rose, which my leaf did not fall.
I think it's beautiful.
Agree with Emmeline. Klaude smiles as he plucks the rose from my fingers. He holds the strange flattened flower up to his nose and smells it. It also smells far better than a normal rose. I'm inclined to agree. The rose made out of magic is more special than a rose plucked from a rose bush. Lovely, Diana. It's so flat. It looks like it might fall off the stem at any moment. I shake my head slightly and attempt to snatch it away from Klaude. He only holds it out of my reach with a mischievous smile. Fine, you can keep it then. Klaude smiles. He holds the rose carefully on one hand, then leans down to kiss my cheek. I mostly certainly will. He keeps the rose plucked gently in between his fingers as Glance turns to me. That was amazing, Divana. Your magic is beautiful. And fierce. Sometimes too much so. I scoff. Make it sound like my magic is aggressive when it is not. I barely have any reason to use magic in the first place. Most of the time I only use it for my convenience. And then sometimes I use it to make gifts for Klaude just to upstage him. Lance thanks me again for the demonstration before excusing himself. He and Emily rush off for extremely important plans. Rod heaves out the great sights before eventually falling after them. I hope they are not trying so too hard for my birthday celebration tomorrow. I remain with Klaude while he eats a late breakfast and then head out with him when he is done. I know that our time together will not last long. Klaude has to take off to another lesson, and I have to meet with my father. It is another discussion about the implementation of new laws in Angel. Before the two of us go our own separate ways, Klaude turns to me with the rose still in his fingers. I am going to return this to the room first. I'm sure that when you see it later tonight, it will have caved on itself. You have no faith in me, Divyana. It is more than that I have no faith in the rose. Klaude flicks my forehead, bringing me back into reality. Next time you do that, I'll freeze your pretty eyelashes. Klaude bats his eyelashes at me and chuckles. I won't mind. It will be a nice change in aesthetic, I think. He plants a quick kiss on my forehead. Until we next reconvene, love. After a quick exchange of farewells, we separate and go our own ways. The day turns to be busier than I had anticipated. Except for a short hour break in between, I barely see Klaude. He managed to give me a gift for the day in between our responsibilities. It is a fit for the eyes, a simple yet elegant blue dress decorated with lilies. Klaude is good at selecting dresses, given his prior experience with them. The king always seems surprised when I tell him that Klaude helps me compile my wardrobe. I know I will have to wear this dress sometime soon as well. This thought hangs in my mind as I continue about my business. The rest of the day passes in a blur. Even the evening moves quickly. I have enough time to sit down to dinner with my family before I have a meeting with the witch from town. By the time I'm finally able to head back to my room, it is 9:10. My body feels incredibly heavy, and all I want to do is crash into my bed. I have just turned the band in the corner when I hear soft music coming through the walls. I stop to listen. Klaude must be playing the piano. Strange. He usually does not play it if I am not there to play with him, to play with or watch him. I walk the rest of the way to my bedroom, then push open the door quietly so as not to disturb Klaude. The music wafts out from the room like a gentle breeze. The minute I step inside, I see Klaude at the piano, fingers gliding across the keys to create the beautiful sounds emanating from the instrument. Hi, Nomii. Oh yeah, Nomii, how is your animation though? I forgot to ask. And thank you for the resub. Whoa! Clap. Wait. Clap. To be fair, Nomii, that is a lot what I do with when I have like VODs with two parts or that I have to separate into parts. That's normally what I do. Like I leave it to render during the night and to bed. He's so immersed in his music that he does not notice when I step inside and shut the door behind me. He looks sullen, yet at peace, his eyebrows drawn in a concentration as he focuses on the keys. Even as I watch, the rigidness of his expression begins to crumble away into a gentle smile. His song. It is beautiful. Will I break his concentration if I move to sit beside him? No, as is. It will be fine. Klaude knows how to focus. So... wait a minute. I think the music is playing is the opening of the last game. Yeah, it is the opening of the last game. I make my way over to where he's sitting at the piano and quietly slide onto the bench beside him. The song does not stop, even when Klaude inclines his head toward me, slightly. The gentle smile never falters. In fact, his eyes seem to gleam even more when he notices that I sit behind him. Well, this is a most pleasant surprise. I was wondering when you'd be back. Sorry, I just need to. Sorry, I had to answer that. I sat one of my hands down on his knee and leaned my head onto his shoulder. It has been a long day. I'm sorry I couldn't lighten your workload, darling. You deserve a more relaxed day today. You deserve it to be spoiled. He's playing at the piano ceases as he puts his hand on top of mine. Lord, you spoil me every day. Sometimes too much. It is fine. I furrow my eyebrows slightly, realizing that my presence has probably put a damper on his playing. I interrupted your playing, didn't I? I'm sorry. Why are you apologizing, darling? You know that what I always say? Claude smiles at me mischievously. I always notice the most permanent things, and you are far more important than any piano piece. He laces his fingers through mine before leaning forward to press a gentle kiss on my lips. The feeling of his lips on mine causes my early stress to melt away completely. Everything around us fades to a gentle blur when I kiss him back. For some time, it feels like the world has stopped around us, and then there is just the two of us. At times like this, it feels like we have all the time in the world for each other. I am the first to pull away and poke Claude in his chest and smile as I slide off the bench. What song are you playing? I wonder. Is it really necessary to keep it a secret? This song wasn't meant to be a surprise for tomorrow, was it? Claude just looks at me with his lips curved into a cat-like smile. I'm going to assume that is a yes. I'm going to sit down on the edge of my bed. If you are in here playing, I'm assuming that you are done for the day. Claude left out aside as he leans dramatically back on the piano, one arm draped across its surface, the other one resting on his forehead. I'm afraid the night still has yet more excitement for me. Is it a meeting with father, or assignment from your history tutor? Claude scoffs at me. I will have you know I'm on top of all my assignments. I'm as excellent as a pupil as I am an instructor. Your ego knows no bounds. It's confidence, love. Confidence. Claude sighs as he stands up and stretches. Afterwards, he turns to look at me. I'm afraid I have certain plans for tomorrow that I must check on. Plans for the birthday party? You really don't need to work so hard for me, Claude. Much to my surprise, Claude's smile slips, his expression fading into something more somber. I always work hard for you, Tiviana. I would do anything for you. That will never change even if I cannot be. He stops suddenly, his lips sealed. You cannot be what? Claude looks at me, startled for a few moments. He steps back through the door, then, abruptly, he begins to laugh. Never mind me. A tired man says a lot of particular things. When he smiles, the look is once again melancholy. It is a sad smile. Claude, are you okay? Yes, Ivana, I'm just a little tired. Don't look at me like that. I'll be fine come tomorrow morning. Claude. He stops in front of the door, and on the knob. Yes, darling? You remember that we promised there would be no secrets between us, right? I would never forget a promise I made with you, Diana. He says the word with enough conviction that I cannot help but be relieved. This is just a passing stress, I promise. I had my head relenting. Now, I regret to say it, but I will be a little late tonight, so don't need to wait up for me. He blows me a kiss. I love you, Diana. Good night. Good night, Claude. He steps out through the door and closes it behind him. Once he's gone, I fall back down on my bed, my eyelids fluttering closed. My body welcomes the softness of the sheets and the comfort of my pillows. I wonder if there's some way to figure out why Claude looks so sad. Someone that could tell me how to help him when it's like this. The question rolls around my mind for a while, but it's not long before the desire to sleep overwhelms my... Thank you, Siribot. I appreciate that. Overwhelms my worry. Not long after I close my eyes, I find myself drifting away into slumber. When I next wake, my bedroom is dark and quiet. The first thing I am aware of is my heart, which is beating painfully against my chest. Another nightmare. I put a hand on my forehead as I glance around my room. From what I saw, if you write good bot, Siri sometimes answers you. I think I saw that on Aries. I put a hand on my forehead as I glance around my room. I notice that Claude is lying beside me, and is disturbed. The gentle rise and fall of his chest, along with soft breathing, tells me that he is asleep. It's actually a really cute thing, though. You're writing good bot and Siri just giving you a heart. I think it's cute. I find the clock in my room is and stifle inside. Oh yeah, I need to change the batteries on my clock. It is just past midnight. I have no idea how long Klaude has been asleep, and I do not want to wake him. My brain wasn't working. My brain was reading, and I was like, how do I read? Sometimes when the nightmares are terrible, I end up waking Klaude to discuss them with him. Other times, when I'm sure he needs the rest, I do my best to forget the nightmares on my own. I could do some fresh hair. I quietly slide out of my bed and make my way through the door. I glance over my shoulder at Klaude one last time before quietly stepping outside and shutting the door behind me. The palace corridors are quiet at night, save for me muted footsteps of the patrolling knights. At first, I am at a loss for what to do with myself. I could sit in the garden, or I could walk through the hallways until the voices fade. My legs begin to move on their own. Every step sends me down the hallway and closer to a branching corridor. I'm not entirely sure where I'm heading, but I tell all of the knights I meet on my way, I'm only wandering for some peace of mind. I have just moved into the conjoined corridor when I see a familiar face. Princess? Trina stops in front of me, her eyebrows drawn together in a clearly anxious expression. Good evening, Jordan. Good evening, Your Highness. Couldn't sleep? It has been a restless night. Are you still working? For a little while longer, yes. And what about you? Just taking a midnight stroll? I bumped into Jordan quite a few times on these aimless night strolls, and she always worries. I was. There is no case for concern. You said that, Princess, but any royal's actions are a concern to us knights. And now I have to keep my eyes out for both you and the prince. The prince? Rod is also up? Oh no, Prince Lance of Brigantia. He was out here earlier murmuring to himself. That's a little strange. I saw him head to the dining hall last. I sent a few knights over that way just in case. Perhaps you just left his room for a midnight snack? Klaude used to be up at midnight all of the time when he first came here. Sounds like typical Brigantian lifestyle. Anyway, if you need anything from me, I'll be on patrol for a little while longer. Don't hesitate to call on me, Princess. I'll not, thank you, Jordan. Jordan turns to walk away, but then pauses to glance over her shoulder. Oh, and Princess? I hope we all get to practice together again soon. Yes, I hope so too. It has been a long time since all four of us have been able to practice in mock battles. Jordan flashes me a small smile before she strides away from me to continue her patrol. If Lance is up right now, perhaps I should go see him. Without another thought, I began to make my way to the dining hall. Sure enough, the first thing I notice when I step into the dining hall is Lance, who is sitting at the end of the dining table, his hands clasped as if in prayer. He's murmuring something beneath his breath. Lance? Lance glances at me, bewildered. His shock almost makes me feel guilt. Did I interrupt something? No, not at all. He lets out a deep sigh, his shoulders sagging slightly. A weight seems to fall out of them as it does so. and when he looks up, he once again exudes his usual cheer. I was wandering around the palace when I noticed the dining hall was empty. I wanted to sit down for a few moments to practice the speech, but he looks down at the table. A downcast expression takes me by surprise, as it is very uncharacteristic of the usual very charismatic glance. Sometimes I get so caught up in memorizing that I forget about everything around me. I'm sorry. There is no need to apologize, but you're practicing a speech? For whom? It's fine. You do not need to speak about it if you do not want to. I'm about to head out again when Glenn calls my name, making me stop. Have you ever given a direct speech to people, Princess? Before, I used it to shun people. I dislike going anywhere near them. Since breaking my curse, however, I learned to open up to the townsfolk. King has me address them directly on our monthly rides out of town. Of course. I see. If you are asking me that question, I'm assuming that it is because you are practicing a speech for a big audience? One smiles, a little out-heartedly. I was. The moment Klaude became engaged to you, I became next in line for the Burgundian throne. Father has been waiting for me to give a speech officially announcing myself as Burgundian crown prince. The moment Klaude asked for my hand in marriage, he had to relinquish his position as a crown prince of Burgundia. It never occurred to me that Lance would have to take over something he wasn't prepared for. And how is the speech going? Lance sighs. Terribly. I die a slow death in front of a large crowd. Klaude has always been better at speeches than I have. I prefer speaking to people one-on-one. Large crowds are terrifying. He has stage fright. No doubt you both have your own strengths. Talking to so many people at once requires practice. Right. Lance still looks disheartened. The look on his face is so similar to Klaude's that I cannot help but help the small stab in my heart. You said Klaude is better at spotlights, right? Then he should be able to help you. The two of you are brothers. He knows you better than anyone else. Even though Klaude gets jealous of Lance frequently, two of them are still brothers. Klaude loves him. And Klaude's overwhelming confidence allows him to speak up to crowds with ease. Most people find him very charismatic. Hasn't Klaude been really busy recently? I wouldn't want to take away any of the free time he has with you. Lance? Lance has a forlorn look in his eyes. He stares past me at the door, his eyebrows forward. Lemma! He flushes a crimson red that has me smiling despite myself. He and Klaude are similar in the strangest ways. You may as well ask Klaude. I wouldn't mind sitting in during your practice if time with me was ever a problem. Besides, I already get ample time with Klaude, despite what he might say. Most of the time, he's just needlessly dramatic. So I do have to agree that we have both been pressed for time this week. Hopefully, things will settle down after tomorrow's celebration. I'll try asking him then, though. Said more decisively. You will ask him. Lance laughs, a little sheepishly. Then he clears his throat and speaks in a voice filled with conviction. I promise I will ask him. Good. Oh. Lance looks at me, eyed wide. What is it? It's past midnight, isn't it? I almost forgotten. Forgotten? To wish you a happy birthday. The smile glance gives me, it's so shiny, it almost sparkles. Very blessed happy birthday to you, Diviana. May both your nights and your days be filled with endless cheer and good company. Thank you, Lance. If Claude knew Lance was the first to wish me happy birthday, he would cry. The thought makes me smirk. My conversation with Lance is cut short after that at one point. Instead of responding to him with words, I respond with an intended yawn. I excuse myself first that night, relieved that my conversation with Lance has helped clear the nightmares from my mind. I'm sure that Lance will be able to solve his problems with help. As for my problems, I push the thought of Klaude's melancholy smile from my mind. For now, it is better not to think about it. Klaude wants me to enjoy my birthday celebration without worrying about him. So for now, I'll set aside to these worries. I walk back to my room feeling a lot lighter than I had when I first left it. Time to save. Always lively in the late morning, but I barely pay attention to the servants I pass as I make my way through it. A few of the servants notice my hurried pace and stare at me, no doubt curious as to why I'm rushing down the halls. I ignore them. What reason could Parfait have to summon me so late? So late? So late. I was awoken this morning by a knock heralding a letter delivery. It was marked as urgent, and had been sent by Parfait earlier today. Parfait prefaced it with an apology, and explained that she and Laura had something that they needed to discuss with me. Apparently, it cannot wait. Everyone planned for a late breakfast today, so I could sleep in too. Claude was already gone when I woke. I was expecting as much considering today is my birthday, and he has been the one adding the plans for it. I've already told my family that I will be missing breakfast on account of Parfait's letter, but I have yet to see Claude. I turned the corner in a rush, and only barely managed to stop myself from colliding with someone coming down to the other side of the hall. Diviana. Did this car just die? Okay. I step back from Claude as he stares at me, looking flustered as if he too had been running. I heard that you are leaving the palace for some special business, some personal business. Yeah, I think so too. Parfait sent me an abrupt letter this morning saying that she had something to discuss with me. Claude looks clearly disgruntled by this news. On her birthday? Oh. He suddenly falls to his knees and clasps my hand in it. I'm startled when he presses his lips to the back of it and smiles. A very happy birthday to you, my beautiful Vivian, my love, my sunshine, my beautiful betrothed. The greeting is so familiar I cannot help but blush. Claude cocks an eyebrow at me as he leans forward and plants a quick kiss on my lips. Alright, now that I've done what was necessary. He looks at me again, disgruntled. They're really doing this on your birthday? Apparently so. Claude grants a response before shrugging his shoulders. If that is the case, he takes a step toward me. Would you allow me to accompany you? I had something special planned for breakfast, But if you cannot be there, I would at least rather be by your side. I cannot leave early to make sure that things here are taken care of. Was he rushing to catch up to me for that reason? But if he tags along, won't he be even more rested for time? No, because this is his plan. He is the one that insisted on tagging along, and I always appreciate Klaude's company. Perfect. I'll meet you in the palace gates in a few minutes, then. I just need to tell everyone that I plan on being out for a short time. He ducks and plants a kiss on my cheek before rushing off, leaving me to once again walk down the corridors on my own. I do not have to wait long for Klaude to appear at the gates. Sorry to keep you waiting, Diviana. He glances around the clearing. No carriage? I asked, but they have yet to prepare one. Perhaps we should just walk to the margin? I stifle aside. Relax, darling. Parfait and Laura have already waited this long. I'm sure they can afford you some time to breathe in some fresh air. He holds out his arm to me with a flourish, a smile on his face. Shall we? I look my arm through his with a resigned smile. We shall. The town is lively today, but still not crowded as it is in the afternoon. I really do feel bad that everyone went out of their way to eat breakfast so late on my account. I told them it was for some important meeting with Parfait, but still. What could be so urgent she had to call me out here now? The walk through town is mostly uneventful. Oh my god, I'm struggling today. I'm relieved that no one goes out of their way to speak a birthday greeting to me. When Emily mentioned Klaude wanting the townfolk to celebrate with me, I was half worried that they would rush me when I came out the palace. Yet the town is oh my god, I can speak. Yet the town is as it always is, which is a great relief. I greet people respectfully when they call out my name, but otherwise keep to myself. We are close to the margin when I stop, hearing a conversation that piques my curiosity. I do wonder whatever happened to her. She was just here one day and then gone the next. Beautiful, mysterious women tend to do that, I suppose. She was mysterious, wasn't she? It's been years since she was seen. Maybe she really was just a fairy passing by. Or perhaps a witch? Her beauty was mesmerizing enough that seemed more than just human. She had a rather mysterious name too, didn't she? Miss Karma? Miss Karma? I cannot believe people are still talking about his disguise from 2 years ago. I cannot help but glance at Klaude, who is grinning at me mischievously. The thing is not tongue twisters, it's just, I don't know. When I start the stream, I feel like my speaking abilities went poof. Perhaps one day the enigmatic Miss Karma will appear in town again. Is she a fairy or a witch? No one may ever know. It is indisputable, however, that she is the second most beautiful lady in the realm. Yeah, Speaking hard, English hard. Second most beautiful? It is not like you to be so humble. Klaude looks at me pointedly. Well, she certainly isn't as lovely as another fair maiden that I know. Klaude only responds with a wink. I continue to walk, my eyes now at the Martian. I wonder how the townsfolk would feel if they realized that Miss Karma somehow became the crown prince of Angel. She thought feels like it would be putting it mildly. When I finally arrive at the Martian doors, I stop, relishing the nostalgia that comes over me. I do most of my magic practice at the palace and forest now, which means that I barely have reason to come to the Martian. 2 years ago, this place was lively, always crowded with patrons who were seeking to break their curses. Ever since I became the Tenebran Baron and dispelled those curses on my own, the place has become significantly less busy. Now, it is just a normal tavern, so I hear many of the previous cursed still come here. I put my hand to the door and pause. It feels as the Martian is holding his breath. I should make this quick. It's almost noon and I cannot miss lunch as well. I turn the doorknob and step inside. I'm expecting quiet and serenity, but the moment I step foot through the front door, there is a loud outburst of sound from every direction of the room. Happy birthday, Princess Iviana! The words are only the primary greeting. After them comes a shower of petals that fall from the ceiling. I realize as they fall to my feet that they are white. Lily. Petals? I stare at the side before me with wide eyes. The Martian is mostly unchanged, except for a few flourishes here and there. Lilies line some of the shelves, and I can see through the doorway that the tables and the tavern are area decorated. Finally, I notice a group of people gathered by the door. I live for moments like this where I can see our very ever so stoic princess stunned in silence. One would hope that she would find a surprise party surprising. I came here for urgent business. The words leave my mouth before I can even think them. My cheeks are warm and my head is spinning. Across my arms, my face still flushes with embarrassment. I turn to glance behind me and see Klaude looking at me. He is smiling at me smudgely, as if in triumph. I knew about this all along. But of course, I did help plan it after all. So what he said at the palace was a well-crafted lie? You forget that I am very good at keeping secrets. I step into the room, the surprise finally sinking in. I look around and see familiar faces I haven't seen in a while. Even more surprising, my family and Lance are among them. I saw them all before I left the palace. How did they get here? When I ask an explanation, I am told that the royal family was transported to the Martian by waltz, used a transmission spell. Everyone else had been gathered in the Martian before that, making arrangements and setting up the impressive array of food I can see in the tavern area. Although the venue is smaller, it is more comfortable. This is so much nicer than a grand party at a palace. No formalities are required. I much prefer the nostalgia of the Martian to the stiff royals. I am led, as the guest of honor, into the tavern area. There is, sure enough, banquets set out on all of the tables. Some of my favorite foods are on the menu, and it is impossible to miss a drink fountain. Is that?
A drink fountain filled with a special birthday juice, princess?
There are fancy goblets laid on the out just beside the fountain, ready filled with the concoction. The goblets on their own are not telling, but I recognize the chameleon topper. But this is the juice that Emmeline was tasting in the dining hall. Emmeline was to stand in front of the drink fountain. Bright smile on her face. I noticed Lance standing with her. More likely than not, he has been assisting her with this since he arrived. Emmeline gestures to the goblets and the drinking fountain behind them.
I present you the Vienna special drink, the chameleon.
There is a round of applause, followed by very confused muttering. Laura snorts. And here I thought this was a celebration for the princess.
Emmeline. The Vienna insisted that we call it that.
Klaude looks at me mournfully. Did you really expect me to call it anything else with such a topper on it? But the Vienna, I have no problems with the name. It was your idea after all. I love this. I am amazed. I didn't even know you could blush, Karma. It's a trick of the lightning, nothing more. I'm eating popcorns over here. Everyone scatters in different directions at that point. Some make their way immediately to the food tables, while others begin to engage in conversation. It is a small get-together, but the people here are all comfortable enough with each other that it is uneasy with each other that is easy for them to converse. Somehow, even despite the fact that the royal family should look out of place, they do not. Maybe it is a fact that they have already met everyone at the tavern before at the palace. Even less at is. I am just about to make my way over to the large food display when a familiar voice stops me in my tracks. It's been too long, princess. I missed seeing your radiant scowl. Every time I think it's changed, this happens. Chevalier laughs when I frown at him. And there it is. I'd much rather see you smile though. It is your birthday after all. 2 years ago, when I left Chevalier's court, I remembered that he was a doctor. He became more serious after that, and went back to his work with a commitment that surprised everyone. I hear that because his clinic is closed. It's an Aya. It's an
I
Aya.
have time to do my laundry before I start the stream.
10 minutes.
Do you think it's possible?
Depend on the
Can you
amount
do
of
it?
laundry.
Ooh.
I.
Ooh. Hi.
No, I'm. I'm saying I like pain, suffering. Yep, that I.
I think I have time. I'm losing precious minutes asking,
Yep.
but I do need to do my laundry.
You too.
So be aware when I am late, it's because I'm on my laundry.
Maybe I can finish after stream.
Okay. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go into the podcast stream voice call. Goodbye.
There is a podcast voice call.
I added it while you were streaming.
Oh, no, I'm just here because this is the visual novel stream. So if anyone wants to join, they can.
And I didn't want to interrupt just in case. That's why I made one just in case.
It's fine.
Okay, then I'll just mute here. Goodbye, chat. Goodbye, D-chan.
I'll give her a plushie either way. Now where are the plushies? Here. Do I have a green one? I don't believe so. I'll give her this one. There, on her head. He became more serious after that. He went back to his work with a commitment that surprised everyone. I hear that because his clinic is closed, he visits the Martian often. How have you been? I've been well, Princess. I have to thank you for a recommendation a month ago. A recommendation? I recommended my clinic to a noble man. Lord Decimond? Was it? One recommendation led to another, and now I have an influx of patients. I found out not long ago that Chevalier frequently refuses gold from people out of his own selfishness. Because I could not convince him to take the gold, I recommended a nobleman to his clinic instead. Now he has no reason to refuse payment. It is my pleasure, but please, make sure to keep some of the gold to yourself. I hope you won't put Viviana's efforts to waste with your selfness again. Klaude suddenly stands beside me with a scowl on his face. A pleasure to see you too, Your Highness. Both men frown at each other. For some reason, they are still curt with each other. But do they really need to act like children? Oh, Diviana. Then suddenly appears at Chevalier's other side, with a bright smile. I came to ask. Oh. He looks at Chevalier, who is staring between him and Klaude with wide eyes. There's two of you? Lance laughs. I'll be Claude's brother, yes. I am Prince Lance of Rugantia. It is an honor to meet you. Isaac, how are you? Oops. An honor? You are the renowned Anchiel doctor, Chevalier de Moore, yes? Your reputation precedes you. I misclicked, okay? The O and the P are next to each other, I misclicked. Chevalier eyes Lance skeptically. And it's your own name, oh my god. You know me? And more importantly, you're being nice to me? His eyes flicker between Klaude and Lance. Lance looks at me, perplexed. He looks a little at lost. Klaude, on the other hand, is just staring between the two of them, unimpressive. Okay, so this is the 3 choices that we searched last time, so remain silence is the right one. I cannot help but recall my previous conversation with Lance. He told me that he is more comfortable speaking with people one-on-one, and yet he seems at loss for words here. He needs to learn how to get out of his situation on his own. This will be good practice for him. Wow. Chevalier is still squinting at Lance suspiciously. The silence persists a few more moments before Klaude breaks it. He lets out a deep sigh and steps between the two of them. I'm doing okay, and how are you, yourself? I is in a rush. We are cheering for her in the shadows. You call me judgmental, and yet you're already assuming things about my brother. How very hypocritical of you. Lance says. Klaude shrugs. Lance is not me. No, Lance is definitely easier to get along with than Klaude. Darling, you won me. Both Lance and Chevalier laugh at that. Klaude scolds a little as he turns away and takes my hand. In the moment Klaude looks away, I notice Lance flush a grateful smile at him. So Klaude can actually be brotherly when he tries. Chevalier and Lance seem to become a bit more comfortable with each other after the interruption. Klaude pulls me away while they continue conversing. Well, at least someone gets along with that man. Everyone except you. Klaude shrugs. Some things do not change. We part ways after that. Klaude going to speak with my family while I make my way toward the Martian borders. Princess. Klaude strides past a conversing Lance and Chevalier to greet me. If it isn't Angel's favorite magician. Favorite, it is a bit of an overstatement, but thank you. How have your lessons been going? I assume they have been a success, as you haven't made my last 3 lessons with Laura. I was actually going to apologize for that. There is no need. There are young witches who require your counsel a lot more than me. Shortly after Walt's curse was dispelled, he made good on his deal to help teach me magic. I used to see him more often before he decided that he was going to become a magic tutor for young witches. Walt is very good with children. How have your Cinderella responsibilities been? Princess? I've been having more nightmares recently, but it's no cause for concern. Walt, stop. I can see you already worrying. It's in my nature to worry about friends, you know. I will second that to all of you. Good luck with Genshin stuff. Walt has been helping me remember some of my lost memories now that he is no longer cursed. With his help, I have been able to recall our previous friendship. Today is the day of our celebration. You're not allowed to worry about me. But that is an order from your princess. Walt smiles as he puts a hand on his chest and bows. I have no choice but to obey then, I suppose. Our conversation turns to more light-hearted things after that. The jovial hours passed by in a blur, with the exception of Jordan and Garland, who are both back at the palace because of their important night duties. Everyone I know is here. It is a pleasant break to catch up with all of them. After some time, a large cake is brought floating in by parfait. The cake is still so beautiful. Everyone in the room grows quiet at the gap at the massive size of it. The cake is 5 different layers and without magic. Would have required at least 6 people to carry. I was under the impression that this cake would be small. Oh, but it is. Lance gasps aloud as he points at the cake. His usual composure is broken completely when he waves his hand in the air. A wonder-filled smile on his face. A burgundy top cake? I haven't had one in years. What?
Oh, I've heard about burgundy top cakes. They're incredibly difficult to make because of all the different layers. And the largest cakes are said...
I know me.
are said... to slant on account of being too small.
That timing though. Wait.
I was just wondering if we were gonna do what we were gonna do. And Nomii came in and I said, okay, cool.
Wait.
I'm here.
We are, but we were doing the laundry, so I just...
Oh, no. I was just making sure where everyone else was, because I know you're here.
Yeah. I'm present.
I didn't want to interrupt.
I'm present and I'm giving Nomii a plushie. I'm giving a
What should I
reply.
title it? Music, no, podcast. I don't know if we're gonna stay on topic, so I'm just gonna say podcast.
We try podcast.
Podcasting. Podcasting, I guess.
We try. You see, it is small. This one is nowhere near collapsing on itself. Klaude is filled with pride when he tells me that he commissioned some of the best bakers in Angel to undertake the task of making the cake. While the actual decorating was done by professional bakers, the more complex details were apparently crafted by witches. Zeph is saying, as far as I know, it's a podcast. It will always be multiple topics.
No, for real.
Laura herself has made me 3 candles on the top, which refuse to blow out, no matter how many times I have had them. I end up turning the fire to ice to get them to stop burning. By the time everyone is done with their cake, the daylight has been replaced with odes of gentle moonlight. The festivities are just about to wrap up for the night when Klaude approaches me, insisting that we return to the palace so that he can give me his last gift. You know that I have just open. So when you are there, I'm just reading as soon as you start.
Oh. My Wi-Fi is like being inconsistent currently.
Oh no, again?
Mm-hmm.
Why? It's always when you want to do something or you can the energy to do something.
It's always when I want to stream. I mean, it always happens, but like usually when I want to stream, it definitely happens.
At first, I assumed all of us are simply going to be teleported to the palace, but my fellow insisted that I go on ahead of them. Padre has something he wishes to discuss with Laurent Parfait, and Ophelia is in a surprisingly animated conversation with Denise, who is discussing some complicated recipe with her. I decided to head back to the...
restart just in case. Sorry to interrupt.
It's okay. I don't mind. I decided to head back to the palace early with Klaude after saying my goodbyes to everyone. I expect my stroll to town to be leisurely, but I'm surprised to see bright lights and decorations when we come into the plaza area. Specially crafted lanterns hang on the shingles, the rooftops, and the town floor is littered with both white and red flower petals. Everywhere I look, there are stalls decorated with lilies and roses. What is all this? A celebration, obviously. The plaza is heart at grand festivities. The stalls are filled with games, music and food. Everything is either lily or rose tinted, and everywhere I look and see smiling faces and laughing crowds. Emmeline said they wanted some way to celebrate my party with the townfolks, but I was expecting them to distribute a drink, not all of this. There are rose petals too. Not because the rose and lily aesthetic is a good combination, no? It was absolutely nothing to do with stealing your spotlight, I can assure you. No, of course not. I cannot stop smiling as I take in the sight of town. It is beautiful at this time of night, and seeing the townfolk immersed in all the festivities makes me happy. Thank you, Klaude. Your smile is thanks enough, love. And we both owe thanks to your family, the palace servants and those at the Martian. I would not have been able to plan all of this without them. Once we are closer to the palace gates and out of view, of everyone else, I lean forward to plant a kiss on Klaude's cheek. She is going to be missed. She's back!
Oh my goodness.
Sorry. Oh, it's still bad. Do I just F it and go?
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to put that. See.
I'm just going to save them. We'll finish chapter 3 in another day, 2 weeks. With the rest of the game. I was like, did she left and came back, or?
Well, JJ's. I'm just gonna do it.
Okay, let me put them.
JJ's.
Here is Aya. And here
Podcast
is
episode
Nomii.
1.
So yeah. Thank you so much to everyone joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Podcast episode 0.
We are going to send
Episode
them everyone to
0.
Aya.
We're on what's it called?
Prequel.
What's it called? The pilot episode. Pilot episode. Yeah.
A pilot podcast.
Lol.
So that is a red message for who is sub. Or who isn't sub, the red message will be this one.
Let me watch D stream in the meantime.
No!
Yeah, D-stream.
Oh, girl.
Don't do that to me, please.
Oh, girl.
I'm trying to start a raid here. To
So
you.
sorry. Oh, so sorry.
I am
Let
waiting.
me start the stream then. The stream has begun. I have questions prepared, but nothing is set in stone. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sending everyone to you. Say hi to Aya, even though she's here. And
My
thank you.
Wi-Fi sucks right now, bro. Like I am upset.
Upsetty spaghetti.
I am so upsetty spaghetti right now. I'm on 4,000.
Holy crap.
Thank you so much to everyone who joined me today. I really
KBPS.
appreciate
I
it.
don't
Thank you,
know what
Nomii,
that
for the
means.
resub. Let's go to
But
Aya.
it's
I'll be back
not
on
on
Sunday.
green, which
Bye.
means it's bad. I'm dropping frames by the minute, by the second.